Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ICS321, and this is the first day of class. And so I'm just going to start right in with chapter 1. I'll briefly go over what is available so far. I did make an introductory video, so you should all watch that. It's not very long, but it explains the website and so on. So let me share my screen. Let's see, it's not this one. Okay, so when you log into Laulima, you should see this and the syllabus. The first thing you click on is the syllabus, and there's a the YouTube playlist. If you click on that, this gives up all the videos are going to go here, all right in an order. So if you something important comes up and you have to do something else for a couple of weeks, and you need to catch up, that's not a problem. It's all here. It should all be here for you. And so at the end of this class, or at the end of this session, I'm gonna as soon as it's done processing, I upload it, and so you'll see it later today. All right, so so this is the way to get onto this class. You click here, and we are using this zyBooks textbook here, which I'm going to start with today. Here's the syllabus, and this sort of spells out the class. If you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat, which I'm going to put the chat. Where's the chat? I'm going to put the chat right down here so I can see if anybody has a question, or there's this forum here, and this is where you this takes the place of raising your hand and asking a question in class. And I see I have some unread questions here, and you can see these questions, so that means I can show them to you. Oh wait, is this me? Oh, this was me showing you when I made the video. Okay, so watch the video and you'll see that. But anyway, so there's some other ones here, and I'll take a look at those. And we are going to have assignments, and all the assignments are posted, and as they come up, like when I'm going through the textbook and stuff, and when they become due, before they become due, I will go over them and get you started. And if you pay attention, and there's old videos which really go through how to do these things step by step, and so you shouldn't have any problem there. And I'd also just like to mention the due dates are recommended due dates. If you look at the grade book, these are all the things you can get graded on. And but everything is auto graded. Okay, everything is auto graded except for the forum questions. By the way, if you post your questions in the forum, you get extra credit. Okay, and then at the end there'll be a course evaluation, which you'll get extra credit if you fill that out too. So so that's how this the grading works. So and since it's all auto graded, I won't mark off if you finish past the due date, because it only takes me about a half an hour or less, maybe 15 minutes, to copy the grades over from zyBooks, from zyBooks, which I'm going to get started with real soon, in a moment, and your assignments. You should be doing your assignments, and when you're done with them, you want to click on Grading Assistant, and you want to put your username, your cPanel username and password. Everyone's got a cPanel username and password. Assignment 1 has you start with that, and you make sure that you finish and get all the points for everything. And then And then I have a control panel, which looks like this, and everybody's on here. But down at the bottom, I have these practice accounts. So when I'm showing you how to do stuff in class, I'm going to be using either Joe Schmo or Joe Schmo without the C. And so I can go in and score all your. I see the results of your doing this, and then at the end I click. Okay, I don't want to show it here because I don't want to show any student names, but at the top, I'm able to download a spreadsheet which lines up perfectly with Laulima, and I upload it to Laulima. And same with the zyBooks. Under reporting, I select all the work that everybody's done, and there's no deadlines in zyBooks. That's what I like about it. There's the deadlines have to do, if I want to enforce deadlines, then I would go in on, September 15th and download your scores for chapter 1. And then I'd post them, and that's it. I would never go back and look at anybody's chapter 1 again, but I don't do that. I just, at the very end, I download all the scores and I get a spreadsheet, and it lines right up with Laulima, and I'm able to post it up everything. So that's why in this class, I don't have to enforce artificial deadlines along the way. So just keep that in mind. But it's really hard to do everything at the end, and you don't want to do that. And you learn quickly. You learn about yourself in a class like mine because people that plenty people do poorly, and the only reason they do poorly is because they waited till the last minute. But anyway, that's not going to be you. All right, there's resources here. Of course, has video playlists from the previous class. So anyway, if you have a question, post it in the forum, get extra credit. Let's get started with chapter 1. And yours looks more like somehow like this. I'm not sure how yours looks, but they don't give me a student version looking copy, and so I'm sure you don't have this stuff. But anyway, so we're starting out with chapter 1, and chapter 1 is pretty good because it does give you a preview of everything that we're going to do in the remaining chapters. And I've matched it up real well with the assignments too. So you're going to be writing a code in Python and PHP to access databases and so on. They're little things that I give you almost all the code, and you just got to go in and fix some things and get it to work. So the first chapter here sort of talks about if it makes you smarter about databases. Everybody has heard of databases and everything and have used them, but there's a lot of terms, and there's a lot of things that database means that the implication of it being a database that you don't really see a lot in other systems, and namely that's the data integrity, and the fact that once you've done a transaction, the building can blow up, but when everything goes back online again, the last transaction you made is still there, so that kind of thing. So we start by distinguishing between data, talk about data, analog data versus digital data. We're dealing almost all with digital data here, unless you get down to the bits on a magnetic medium. But and this talks about different kinds. Now, what you need to do is you need to click through these. Okay, and that's how you get the points. So you just got to read this stuff, and you got to click through these things, and you can you should presumably be paying attention, and then you get the check mark, and then you get the points. If you don't do that, if you just read it and you say, oh, I understand, oh, complete, oh yeah, this is just old hat, you don't get the points, and you don't get as good a score. So that's kind of how this works. And here you would match up. This is a matching thing, and again, it's sort of make sure you read it. Provides more than 250,000 U.S. government. Let's see. Research and application development. Is it this one? Oh, yes. Collects and reports data information relative to all forms of cancer. Let's see, I'm going to guess this one. Yes. Owned by Google. I bet it's Kaggle. Yeah. Provides numerous data sets for aerospace, NASA, and New York City. All right, so okay, and then I get all the points. Check mark there. So those points appear here. Once you're finished with all those participation exercises or activities in chapter 1, then you get 64 points. And this is how many there are in all the chapters. And there's challenge ones, which we'll see. And the labs in this book, the labs are all in chapter 3. And those you have to actually enter in SQL statements, and it auto grades your SQL statements. So that's the importance of actually going through and checking through these. So I want to get through the whole class today, because I want to actually go into the assignment a little bit. So you should go through. Okay, so so here you do a participation activity. Did we do one up here? No, I guess here we do most of the time you do a participation activity, and then there's some multiple choice questions on whether you understood the participation activity. Okay, so it's kind of time consuming to actually click through these things to get all the points without paying attention a little bit. But sometimes you can guess, well, you have to click through this, but the good news is, which of the following manages the bank database? Which of the following manages? Oh. The banking database system. Okay, so I think it's this one. But if you do the wrong one, okay, I think this is the wrong one. Oh, it's wrong. Oops. Oh, that's wrong again. Oh, well, it must be this one. And then you get all the correct, correct, and then you get the check mark. So, so the advantage of paying attention when you're clicking through the participation activity is that you can click through these participation activity down here. You can click through it faster. That's all. So it's kind of good. And the other thing about a textbook like this is, you can do it in chunks. You can say, oh, your kid is, wanting something, and you go away and you're sort of done with this, and you log off and you come right back, and you have the check marks there, and you continue on. So you learn stuff in chunks, little chunks, and that's another advantage of this kind of textbook. All right, so here we're talking about the roles: database designer, database programmer, user, and administrator. And so those are different kinds of people. This is the most broad-based here. So you click through this, and these things pop up, and you understand what the roles are, and then you do the participation activity down here to make sure you understand that. So you should go through that. So these are the kinds of databases that we're talking about, like MySQL. You know, there's certain you know, guarantees, and there's certain you know, features, you'd say, or constraints that they place on using it, and you know, you want all these things. This is especially important, where you define constraints on the data that can go into a table, and guaranteed at any point in time, the table, the data, the table, all the data in the table follows the rules. It doesn't let you put data in the table that doesn't follow the constraints, the predefined constraints, and it doesn't let you delete a record if it violates a predefined constraint. Like, that record has to be there because some other record in some other table needs it there, and so on. So that's what's great about databases here. And then recovery is when things fail halfway through, it's able, you know, like the building blows up, it's able to recover back to the last point where the database was, where all the rules were met in the database. So, so you should go through that. Make sure you understand. This is a transaction. We need to know about transactions because sometimes we are creating a database operation, like you log into your bank app on your phone and you want to transfer some money from your savings account to your checking account. And so the first thing that happens is the money comes out of your savings account, and the second thing that happens is that money gets put into your checking account, but the bank blows up in between, and your money from your savings account is gone, but there's no money in your checking account. Well, a database won't let that happen because you would close those two things in a transaction, and if there's a failure in the middle, then it goes back to the way it was. So your money will be returned to your savings account, and the database system takes care of all that for you. One interesting thing about being a database programmer is the kind of thinking that you have to do is what they call mathematical computation, and not what is the term for computational? Anyway, the database programmer writes SQL statements. The database programmer does not write a sequence of steps for how the database should accomplish the SQL statement. The SQL statement is you want to insert something in, or mostly it's you want to select a set of data records out that have particular attributes or constraints, and you don't care at all how the database management system accomplishes that. And you know, that's up to the database management system. And so there are, you know, the architecture of a database management system is quite a bit different than the architecture of a processor that is used to you know, execute a programming language. So we have a query processor, storage manager, and these indexes are important, and a transaction manager, which makes sure that this is more for concurrent transactions. That's another thing. Transactions, they make sure that two processes, two database users that are accessing the same table, that they don't conflict in a way that where the data, the results would be indeterminate, where if you execute the same thing twice, you might not get the same answer. So the transaction manager also keeps track of that, makes sure that that doesn't happen. All right, so you should that's what this is about. Here is just a introduction to the different kinds of database products that you'll see if when you go out, and if you're a programmer of any kind. We're going to be using MySQL, and I'll be able to talk a little bit about the differences between MySQL and Oracle and well, Microsoft SQL Server, mostly because I have experience with that, and I have a little bit of experience with MongoDB and NoSQL. And NoSQL is SQL and is SQL and combined with JSON objects is a kind of a way to think of it, and so we'll do a little bit of that too. So, all right. That's not this. Yeah. All right. So query languages. There's only one query languages. There's only one query language, and that's SQL, I think. And SQL only has 4 different kinds of statements: insert statements, update statements, delete statements, and select statements. And so this shows you this is how you get data out. So this doesn't affect the database at all. It's just getting it out. And the other 3 do affect the database. You know, and so you have to be more careful with those. Only one of the queries does not change the. I guess that's true. Is it true? Yeah. Given the data in the bank database, retrieval query for accounts with negative balances would return nothing. A retrieval query for accounts of, no, I don't think that's true. Oh, query retrieves the names of individuals that, oh, yeah, I guess so. I guess it would return nothing. But anyway, you can go through these, make sure that you check them enough so you get the check marks over here. So these are the 4 SQL statements, and we'll be doing a lot of that. So in SQL, there's the statement that you're doing, and then right after that, there is, or no, not right. There's what you're doing someplace. There's the table that you're doing it on. So this is what you're doing. This is the table that you're doing it on. This is the table you're doing it on, and this is the table that you're doing it on. Then there's operands after that, and so and then with all of them except for insert, actually a lot of these apply to 3 but not 4. These 3 make changes but not this one. Okay, these 3 require a restriction of where you limit the number of records, or you limit the application of the statement. So here you're saying you want to retrieve where the balance is greater than 3,000. Here you say you want to delete where ID is this, and here you want to update where ID is at. And the other thing is that insert, update, and delete, these have to all be actual tables. That just a table. This can be a table, and most of the time you think of it as a table, but it can also be an expression of that produces a table. And so in other words, it can be another select, because a select produces something that looks like a table. It's like a subtable. But a select, this thing can be another select, but it can also be an expression which joins a bunch of tables. Okay, so, but for these three, that's, it's just a table. So anyway, we're going to learn all about that, and you're going to learn how to think, in terms of these four statements or commands. So, and these are actually real live SQL statements here. So we're actually learning SQL right now. What is Braden's balance in the following? What is Braden's balance in the following insert statement? Well, let's see. So it's in an insert statement that does not specify fields. All this does is has some values. These are values. And so then you go by the default order, which is the order of the columns in the table. So this must be ID, this must be the name, and this must be the balance. So this asks, what is Braden's balance? Well, it's 200. So it's that. So anyway, that's how these statements work. Okay, here's a challenge activity. Okay, remember I told you there's challenges. Okay, we've been looking at all participation, but anyway, so let's do a challenge. Just make this a little bigger. All right. So, all right, let's just start. What is the new rows area? I guess it's this. So I'm going to pick which one it is. 24200. Okay. All right. Yeah, I got it right. All right. I'm going to do one and see what happens when I get it wrong. Okay, I'm going to do next. All right. So select the name from a country. So I'm selecting the name from some country where the area is less than 46,000. What the result table has how many names? Oh, okay, there's going to be, so there must be more than one. Okay, maybe. Let's see, so what's less than 46,000? No, that is, and that is, right? Yeah. So it has 3, right? So I'm going to answer the wrong answer and see what happens. I'm going to answer 2. Well, so it tells me the answer. So now what happens? Next. Oh, I'm still on 2, but it's a different problem. Okay. All right. So anyway, you can experiment by doing, a bunch of wrong answers in a row, but the right answer would be 94 could be this one, not this one. Oh, these are different. This one and this one. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it'd be 4. All right, now I got the right answer. Fantastic. So anyway, you can go through those. Okay, so oh yeah, creating SQL statements, tables. Yeah, we're going to be doing those. Okay, so these are so you create you create a table which stores rows of data, and you would expect that, but you also specify what each cell, what kind of data can go in each cell, and you can be real specific on this. I mean, there's like dozens and dozens of different types, different parameters, and so on, which you'll see. And so these are just the main ones, I guess. It can be an integer, or it can be a decimal number, or it can be a character string, or it can be a date time kind of thing. And here's an example of that. So here we're creating a table called employee, and these are the column names. And see, there's an order here. There's a specific syntax. Spaces don't count. It doesn't. The number of spaces don't count. This just lines them up. There has to be a comma in between each one of these, but not one at the end. And the table name here is enclosed, and the definition is in parentheses. So you could make it all on one line if you want to. But anyway, that creates a table that looks like this. So you should click through this so you get the points. And then answer these questions. The employee table is created with 4 different data types. It looks like it is, and so on. Only ID column stores numbers. No, that's not true, because salary is numbers. Yeah, so anyway, go through that. Okay, so here, this is something that's pretty cool about this this textbook here. So you create this thing. Here you have a create table statement. Here you have an insert statement which inserts a bunch of stuff, and then here you select stuff, and then you run it, and it actually works. Okay, so here we're running this one, and it creates a table called movie, and it inserts these 5 movies into the table, and then it selects them, and this is what comes out. So I mean, and you can change this. You can say, oh, I don't want all the rows. I just want a title and release date. Okay. No, what's rating? Oh, PG. Okay, so I want title, yeah, and release date from movie where a rating is equal to equal to contains PG, is like PG, and a percent, which means anything that comes after PG, and I use the like. So I want to see this one, and this one. Okay, let's see if this works. And I only want to see the title and release date. Didn't work. Oh no, never mind. Yes, it worked. This is the data, and this is the query. So anyway, that's pretty cool. All right. So this is so for database design, you're going to learn a couple of things here that help you design databases. That I don't. Well, if you're designing databases in a team, then you definitely got to do this kind of thing. Okay. And so there's kind of a process that the systems analysts go through when designing a database, and so you should read about all this. There's an analysis of the problem, then there's the logical design, and there's a physical design, and so on. And they, you know, you identify these entities, and this here is an entity relationship diagram. And so it's very helpful if you, you know, before you code anything, before you write any create table statements, you do all this, and you go through a review and so on. And you want to understand databases from this perspective. So what is rights? That's a relationship, okay? And what is category? Category is a attribute. It's an attribute of a book. And what is sale? Sale is a table. Oop, no, not a table, an entity. What is a relation? Is there a relationship between customer and book? No, not really. I mean, indirectly there is, but I think the answer to this is no. Oh, it is. It is no. So in the language of entity relationship diagrams, we call, you know, this is a foreign key relationship. This is a table. This is a field, you know, or a column, you know. So it's all kind of the same thing, but and then there's the logical design, which oh look, here we're calling them tables, and we sort of add this some more information here about how this relationship works, indicating, you know, we like to define a key. We like to have a key for each table. The smallest, just like the smallest number of fields, preferably just one, that can be used to identify that record that is unique to all the records in the table. And so you can identify a record by just the key. So that's what that is. And you really try to make it so it's just one field. And if it has to be more than one field, like in this case, does this have, in this case? No. Well, anyway, there are cases. We'll see cases where there are. Yeah, this is, in this case, the key columns that refer to keys, and this is the book author. I think the key to this table here is not this. It's these two together, because an author can have more than one book. Well, anyway, so make sure you understand that. Click around. Okay, so and then the physical design, we actually are going to get down to this part, and we will learn about indexes and when we should actually manually create an index when it's helpful, and so on. And see, an index does this. It sort of sorts. You know, the data might be like this, but you want to be able to get at these records quickly by their price. And so you have an index, and these are the prices. And so and the index is sorted. So if you want to find some book based on price, you find it's quick. It's binary search to find the price in here, and then that contains an index to or the key value to identify the book. So anyway, here's a dragging participation thing, implementation of database requirements as tables. Is it this? Oh no. Well, anyway, you can do that. Make sure you understand that. Get all the points. All right. Now, a database user is really a programmer that writes code to access the database. And so that's where we come in. That's where most of us come in. And so, so this is an example of how you would write, you know, an example of a Python program that has some database access stuff in it. And so you have to start out by, you know, a statement like this, and then you put the query in there, and this is the query, and then you execute the query. You execute, this is the connection to the database, you know, this thing. You execute the query, and then you have the result of the query, which is, in this case, it's going to be a table. And then you can loop through the rows of the table, and you can print out stuff. So we're going to be doing that. If you go to assignments, we don't get to it until we don't actually write Python code until our last assignment. And here in the last assignment, we're actually writing code in PHP to access a database, and we write code in Python to access a database. And we learned about accessing those two in Chapter 8, where database programming in Python and database programming in PHP, and they call it for the web, and I can't change the title of the section, but so we do, you know, we actually do it this way with these PDO objects and everything, and so it's kind of cool. The first assignment that you do, what time is it? Let's see, well, I'll get to that in a second, but the first assignment, you actually set up your server, and you actually get a little stupid PHP program to run, and you get a little stupid Python program to run. And some of you have done it already, and you should look at the forum, because we've already talked about some problems, some things. If you don't do something quite right, you don't follow one particular instruction or something, that can cause a problem. So anyway, check that out. So we are back in are we in my, okay, yeah, okay, here we are. Programming, here we are. When we talk about APIs, there's two contexts, and it depends on who you're talking to, okay? If you're talking to so there's the application programmer interface where you're writing in Python this stuff, okay? Because this is Python, you're inside Python, and you need to, import the module that contains these methods to access an SQL database. So in some contexts, you refer this as the application programming interface, Python to SQL. But also there's the application programming interface where your mobile app accesses the your Bank of Hawaii mobile app accesses the Bank of Hawaii server over the internet, and on the Bank of Hawaii interface on the other side, on the bank side, there's this interface that that interfaces to the application, which is your bank of way. And so there's that kind of application program interface too. And we're going to be doing both. Okay, so chapter 7, or I mean assignment 7 is you're creating you know, you actually, do I have that down here? Yes, I don't. You're actually creating the application programmer interfaces to a database that you're going to create in chapter 6 or in assignment 6, and you exercise them over the with your browser. I might add a little thing where you actually have a little JavaScript program that uses it. I'll think about that. Maybe that'll be an extra credit thing. All right, so so that's application program interface, and there's ones in different languages, of course. We're going to be using MySQL, and so this talks about downloading this MySQL client on your computer, and I think you can do it on a Mac or a PC. Oh, MySQL Workbench, but we aren't going to need that. In fact, there's actually a chapter on that in here too. But what we're going to do is everybody has a server, right? So like my server is, I think I'd show you this in the introductory video, which is why it's so long. But we have the reason you're going to do everything on this is so in grading, I can actually do auto grading here. So here, like for auto grading these, is this the only thing I'm working? Let's see. So to auto grade this API, it actually goes through and does a bunch of tests. It loads up your database, does a bunch of tests, and then deletes whatever it loaded up. And if you pass all the tests, then you get all the points. I didn't pass all the tests. Oh, I know, because I only had one of them. This year you have to write both, and I don't think I have that enabled. But anyway, so that's why I want you to do it here. Now you can also, there's also terminal. There's a terminal, and so you don't need to do SS, or you don't need to use Bitvice or however else a terminal connecting to your server. You just use this, and so this is Linux. So you can fiddle around with this. It's pretty safe. CD public HTML. And what does it look like in here? Okay, I have a bunch of test Python programs. I don't know what they are. First of all, let me do this. Python, and this is Python 2. Exit. And Python 3. Okay, so when you're doing stuff, use Python 3 and don't use Python, because Python is Python 2, and there's quite a bit of difference. And so let me see what these test programs do. I'm going to see what Python 3 test 1.py, what this is. Oh, this is a Python 2 program. Python test 1.py. Yeah, it works in Python 2. Anyway, so there's an example. So anyway, you can do you can fiddle around with both, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful when you're trying to get your stuff to run, because the terminal is more forgiving than just trying to get it running from a browser. So anyway, so that's where we are there. It's 10:22. So this see, where is the first assignment in the syllabus anyway? Challenge activities, assignment 1. Okay, assignment 1. Okay, so I guess I can talk about that because I've got a little bit of time. All right, so assignment 1. Do I have a Joe Schmo account that's not? Well, if I do. All right, so assignment 1. Assignment 1. Do I remember what Joe Schmo's? Let's see, Joe SCH. This Joe Schmo. Well, let me see if I can remember what the C panel is. No, I want to do JS. Well, I tell you what, I know what Richard H is. Let me just do Richard H. Okay, so am I in Richard H here? Okay, I'm in Richard H. So I'll just do it in here. I'm going to do the first assignment. And so the first assignment is, first of all, I need to go to it. So all of you out there, you put your Hawaii.edu, username there, and your password is this is the first digit of your, how do I make it bigger? Okay, my name is Richard Halverson. It's H. This is a capital H. This is a lowercase r. So this is the capital of your last name, the lowercase of your first name, and this is your 8-digit UHID. Mine is 102, blah, 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 8 digits. And then these characters here, a %, a hashtag, and an exclamation point. Okay, so that's your password. You can change it if you want to. You can go and change it. Okay, and then I want you to go into your htaccess file. If it's not there, you create one, put that in there, and then your server will go to HTTPS instead of HTTP, even if someone doesn't type anything in. That's what that's for. And then this little PHP program, and then this little Python program. So it's 5 minutes. See if I can get it all done in 5 minutes. So first I'm going to go to the file manager, and I'm going to go to public HTML, and I'm going to go, here I am, and here's htaccess. So I'm just going to delete that thing. I'm just, oops, no htaccess. And what happens when I delete it? And now when I go to richardh.ics321.com, now when I go there, it goes, why did it switch over to the secure server? I took out maybe it's because see, let me open up another browser. How about this? Richard H. Huh. I wonder why I did that. Oh, what was supposed to happen is that it's supposed to, maybe it default to that. Okay, I'm going to take out the S. Okay, it didn't jump over to HTTPS. You see, it says not secure. And how do I know that? Let me go to, okay, it's going to be that way for this one too. Let me go to the grading assistant, and I'm going to put Richard H, and I'm going to put my password, which is and I'm going to go URL redirect test is the first one, and it failed. It failed. Okay. Didn't get any points at all. It's just 1 point, and I didn't even get it. All right. So now what I do is I go back in the file manager, and I'm going to create a file, and I'm going to call it. Okay, first of all, I'm going to do how your setting is going to be. That's okay. Your setting is like this. Okay, you don't see any files or folders that have that start with a period. You know, they're hidden. That's how you hide them. So I'm going to create .htaccess period htaccess. I'm going to put it in the public HTML directory, create a new file, and where is it? Where is it? Well, it's because I haven't enabled hidden files. So settings, show hidden files, and oh, there it is. Okay, so now I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to put this in there. Copy, paste, save changes. And now when I go to HTTP, now when I go to HTTP, it quickly redirects me to that. And if I go here and I hit refresh, oh, I got the points. All right, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my HTML public.html directory. And I'm going to call it test PHP. So I'm going to go like this, copy, and I'm going to go over here and do file manager, create a new file, test.php. Oh, it's already there. Anyway, it's actually 10:30. I will continue this. I'll just finish it up next, maybe perhaps in the beginning of the next video, because I want to get you through the Python part, and because you can run. I want to sort of emulate some kind of errors that you could have doing that. So, but anyway, are there any questions before I sign off here? All right. Well, I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.